one thing that I know for sure right now that I think you have found it as your passion or something that you are very interested in and that you're doing currently is being a business analyst. And I want us to actually dive deep into that. You are currently a business intelligence business analyst at a bank. You're a
Yes.
senior information. Previously, you were a senior information technology business analyst also in a bank, and also before that you were a senior business analyst also in a bank. And I think even your graduate program you started as a junior business analyst also in a bank. So business analyst, you know, what is this? What is business analysis? What do you do? Okay, we're on record. And so today I have a YouTuber and I feel very excited, you know. I have a YouTuber, you know, like someone was saying to me, like, you YouTubers, the first thing that you say is like, hi guys, welcome to my channel, subscribe and like. Molo Nontsikelelo haramse.
Yes. Hi, Ben.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Yes, and I was just waiting for it actually right. It's like now is the time. And
but I'm not that fluent in Xhosa. I know you're putting me on the spot.
You're not fluent. Why aren't you fluent?
No.
Maybe we need to know that.
Fluent. I mean, I grew up in Soweto, so it was just a mixture of different languages, and you can never really get too fluent in any language. Well, in my case, yeah.
Oh, I see. So your YouTube channel, maybe tell us briefly about that. What do you cover? I've seen stuff about easy equities. I was like, that's good for some of us who are investing or wants to invest in stuff. I see some stuff on buying property. I've seen some stuff on buying your first car. I've seen, you know, quite a lot of couple of things. So tell us a bit more about that.
Okay, so my YouTube channel was just basically me covering topics that I was interested in. So when I started, I didn't know what exactly like to focus on. And I decided, but there's so many things that I usually go onto YouTube and search for. So why don't I come up with that type of content? And when I started, it was when I was starting to work. So it was a lot of financial content in terms of investing, saving, buying property, buying a car. And then as time went, I started venturing into more of what information systems is, which is what I studied. And that's where I saw a lot of people actually want more information on the types of degrees to study and how long it takes and all of that. So yeah, my YouTube channel is just a mixture of things that I was interested in.
Yeah, I'll put the I'll put the link in the description. So yeah, people should watch. I've learned a lot of things, especially about the one on property. I was like, that's actually quite that's actually quite relevant. So I think this is 2022, right? So you are now probably like 5 years in, in corporate. And then and your 5 years is a lot, actually. It's actually a lot. There's a lot of things that one can learn in that. It's a whole degree and an honors degree on top of it, you know. So what have you learned thus far? I mean, you've worked in risk, in finance and in IT, with regards to your corporate chain and stuff like that. Surely there are some couple of tips that you can give to people in terms of maneuvering corporate.
Yeah. So when I started working, it was shocking, like working environment and your body actually needs to adapt, waking up, sitting at a desk. Because when you're studying, you can maybe have classes from 8 until 12, then maybe you have the rest of the day off or things like that. So now you're working at 8 until 4 at your desk, and so I learned a lot of things. And I think one thing that I can say I specifically learned is not to pressurize myself into immediately going into the right career, immediately finding the right job for myself, because I also struggled with actually finding what exactly do I enjoy at work? Yes, I studied this degree, but it actually gave me a lot of options, and I had to learn what was out there, what I can do, and how to climb. So not to pressurize myself, but yeah, it's been a long journey.
Yeah. And on that, finding whether this thing work, moving to the next one. But if there is one thing that I know for sure right now that I think you have found it as your passion or something that you are very interested in and that you're doing currently, is being a business analyst. And I want us to actually dive deep into that. You are currently a business intelligence business analyst at a bank. You're a senior information. Previously, you were a senior information technology business analyst, also in a bank, and also before that, you were a senior business analyst, also in a bank. And I think even your graduate program, you started as a junior business analyst, also in a bank. So business analyst. What is this? What is business analysis? What do you do?
I think what I always say, or the easiest way I can explain to someone who doesn't know what a business analyst is, it's basically the middleman between business and technology. So business can be you run your business, all is your product. Maybe that you sell sweets, the different kinds of sweets out there, and if there's a specific season that people like those sweets. And then you get technology, which can be maybe an automated cashier machine, an automated machine that will scan all your sweets, all your inventory and all of that. But all you are interested in is making sure that your sweets selling. And you get the other side, all they are interested in is IT, developing all these beautiful machines that we can use. So the business analyst comes in there. I sit with you and say, how do we increase your profits? How do we make sure you have the correct stock? If there's somebody stealing, can we track that? All of that. And I take all that information, write it down, and take IT and say, this is what Ben wants. This is the type of system Ben wants. And then IT will develop it for us. So I'm the middleman to make sure that the business meets the IT side of things.
We're gonna get into the qualifications, or maybe let's say, how do I become a business analyst? Because I'm sure there might be people interested in to be like, oh, that sounds cool. I have the technological IT skills, and then I think I have business skills. I'm in between. I'm the middleman or the middle lady.
So how does one become a business analyst? I think it's one of the jobs that have various ways into becoming a business analyst. There's not a specific set degree or qualification to say, if you want to become a business analyst, you do this. So there's studying information systems, which is what I did. I studied a BCom in information systems, which teaches you different things, also including what business analysis does. Some people also study computer science, and through that, then they become business analysts. And then there's also some short courses that are available specifically for business analysts. So there's colleges out there that offer maybe a 1-year course on how to become a business analyst.
So I know that you gotten through a graduate program. Is that the entry level for everybody for this kind of job?
No, for this kind of job, there's different kinds of entry level. And I think that's one thing that's interesting about business analysts, is that once you're in a team of business analysts and you hear the different ways people actually got into this job, it's very different. So I got in through a graduate program. What was nice with the graduate program is during the interview, they did ask, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to become a business analyst. But some people, maybe they were doing something else in whatever field they were working in, then they do the short course, they apply for the job, and people take them. So there are various ways to get into becoming a business analyst.
What are those various ways? I mean, give us, the roots.
Sure, there are a lot of routes. So the first one, which is obviously like a graduate program.
Yeah.
The other one is people who are maybe in a IT role. You're a tester, or you even do IT support, like normal IT support. Then they go study like the short course in business analysis, and then they apply for a job. Or it's one of those jobs, once you in there, you can maneuver your way into, you get people who are systems analysts, then they convert into becoming a business analyst. You get testers, like I said. So it's basically one of, if you know a project team, or you work maybe in a corporate environment and you see a project team, you can just go to maybe the manager and ask, if I want to become a business analyst, what do I do? Then most probably, even just your attitude, the way you tackle problems, they'll say, no, you know what, you are fit for this job. Because it's a lot of asking questions, coming up with solutions, and, interacting with people. So even if you have those qualities and you show that I can do this job, most probably you'll get it.
Yeah. So I saw that in your LinkedIn, it reads that you work in data analytics team, documenting business requirements to ensure that the data in the organization is stored correctly, following the data governance requirements, ensuring data is available for consumption by other business units, and allow Power BI. This is not the first time I heard about this Power BI thing. And you say you allow Power BI reports to be generated. So there's a lot about data. Is that what it entails?
Yes. So where I currently am, I am dealing with data. So when you're a business analyst, you can be in different teams working in different projects. So I've worked in various teams, like I've worked in card, where you're just doing card projects, which is like your actual card that you use to swipe at the machine.
Yeah.
You do those type of projects. You can be, I don't know, in an ATM team where they actually do ATMs and, come up with projects for ATMs. You can work for Apple and, come up with innovations for cell phones. So where I currently am, I'm in the data and analytics team, and we are just dealing with data for the bank's data. How do we store it? How do we do investigations if investigations are needed, analysis on the data, and all of that. So I'm currently in the data and analytics team.
Oh, that's dope. Because when I read that, I was like, in my mind, I was like, okay, so what can be the difference between this and somebody who's a data scientist? Because, these days, I think you have this whole thing going on about data science and everything. Like, do you guys work with them, or you kind of do similar work, or you guys only deal with the analytics and stuff?
So data is like massive, as I think everybody knows. Everybody wants your data, everybody wants to use it. So there's different roles in data teams. I'm a business analyst, which means I do documentation, I do processes, and I don't actually work on analyzing the data. Then you get data scientists who would then sit and then come up with codes and programs to analyze the data, to say, this is Ben. We know Ben shops at Pick and Pay at 6:00. So if Ben is there at 6:00, let's advertise chocolate to him at 5, because we know he's about to drive to the shop. And, so there's different roles in data. There's also governance. You touched on governance. So those are the rules that say, even though we know each and every data, Ben's data, but we can't now advertise Ben's ID number to everyone. Sure. We can't advertise Ben's home address to everyone. Mm-hmm. So data is big, and there's different roles in data. It just depends on what your role is. And I'm just the business analyst, but there's a lot of other people there.
Do you code? Do you guys code in your line of work?
I code. If I need to code, I do code, because I work in data. So sometimes you would need to analyze somebody's code, or just to understand what that code means. But then you do have data engineers who will actually sit there and do the coding every day. But for me, it would be just to understand what the code means. If I need to pull something, be able to pull it. But then there's data engineers who deal with proper coding.
Yeah, coding is that term now. There are certain terms that are like the it moment, like coding for IR,
Yeah.
I think if you want to look smart, I'm just like coding, and everyone is just like, like, yeah, you're a smart
It
man.
is the future, I guess.
No, it is, definitely it is. So what are the skills that that are required, like in your being a business analyst, like maybe from the soft skills? I don't know if you guys work with people. Obviously soft skills have to also appear there and stuff like that, and maybe also the technical skills that maybe someone might actually work on in embarking on this.
Okay, when you're a business analyst, you do require soft skills because you are working with people and you need to be able to communicate with different people. Because remember, like I said, when we first explained, is that I could be dealing with somebody who doesn't know anything about technology. All they are focused on is their business. So you would need to be able to communicate to that person, keep them updated so that they know what exactly is happening. If you're dealing with technical people, understand a bit of their technical language, like you were saying, coding. So those would be the soft skills, because you deal with a lot of people. Like in a day, you are in meetings, different projects with different people, different backgrounds. So you need a lot of that. And then in terms of hard skills like coding does help, because like you said, it is the future. Everybody wants coding. And then it would be also to decide like what you want to focus on. If you want to focus on data, then be able to code, be able to do some data short courses, understand basically how data moves in an organization, where is it stored, and all of that. So yeah.
So you spoke about meetings, like attending meetings and stuff like that. How does your day at work look like, from a typical day as a business analyst in one of the brilliant banks in the country? How does it look like?
It's very interesting. You have different days. You can have a very busy day where you have meetings from 8 o'clock until 4 o'clock. And you also still need to do your documentation. So write your documents and all of that. So it can be very busy, but also it can also be very quiet, maybe depending on your projects. You've done your piece, you've written all your documents, and you are just handing over to someone else, and you're just following up. Because also as a business analyst, you need to follow up until the very end of the project, until we hand over the system to Ben. You need to be there knowing every single thing, because if somebody has questions, most probably they'll say, who was the business analyst? We need them to explain what exactly is happening here. So your day can be very colorful. Like from my day, we have usually like a stand-up meeting where you say, this is usually at 8 or 9. You say, this is what I am busy with for today. If you need help, that's the platform where you can tell your team, I need help with this. And then once that's usually a short meeting, like 15 minutes. And then once that is over, you can start now with your meetings for your projects. So it depends if you're doing 3 projects, 2 projects, 1 project. You don't usually do 1 project, but yeah, it's just catching up with the different projects and then writing your documents. So it can get very busy.
Wow, that's very quite interesting. And with graduate programs, because you started we started with a graduate program and stuff like that. How is it like for somebody who maybe is going to venture into that? Because I know that there are some rotations, and all of those type of arrangements and stuff. How was your experience in it, and maybe the advice that you can give somebody who's going to embark on the journey?
So my graduate program was a permanent position. So maybe how you started, you do those, you apply, they take your application, it gets selected, then you do those psychometric tests just to see how you think and all of that. And then from there, the different departments in that bank interview you. So I went for a lot of interviews because there's different departments and they're all looking for graduates. Then once you are selected there, you are placed permanently there. So I was in the debt review center. That's where I got placed and that's where I worked. And you are working. So there's no that you're a graduate. Some departments, they can say, oh, she's a graduate, let's train her. Some just say, here's the work, run. You have the qualification, do the job. So that was that. We got the job and we did what we were supposed to do. And then you just have like breakaway. Maybe they say this week, for a week in every month, you go back to your graduate team, you meet with all the graduates, and they teach you soft skills, teach you how to dress, teach you how to communicate, write emails, how to handle different situations. Once that week is over, you go back to your real job doing what you were hired to do.
They teach you how to dress.
Yeah, they teach you like formal, maybe they'll have like a 30 minutes session to say these are the formal. That was when we were still working in the office, but now we are all working from home. They will tell you this is formal, this is not what's allowed. Maybe on Fridays, that's when you can wear casual. They teach you how to write emails. When you structure an email, your header must have this and all of that formal corporate stuff.
Wow, that is very cool. Some of us, we have a very weak fashion sense. That could have actually helped.
They know that we are all graduates. We're all walking around with techies and campus shorts and t-shirts. So just to help you and to say, this is what semi-formal means. This is what formal is, Yeah, they know that they are dealing with people who are just like coming from university, campus life. You need to learn these things.
I remember I once attended a certain workshop, but it was on presentation, like how to present and stuff like that. And the lady touched a little bit on that part of clothing. And she even mentioned colors. Apparently, if you're wearing certain colors, you command certain attention, you command certain, there is certain energy that you, obviously, if someone walks in with a tuxedo, well tailored and stuff, man, there is a statement there other than somebody with some techies and stuff. So it's always quite interesting to see these things,
It's very interesting.
So now, what advice can you give to somebody who's going to be starting in a graduate program? What are the do's and don'ts?
Sure. My graduate year is very interesting. So the do's and don'ts is, once you're in that graduate program, I feel like you shouldn't be scared to speak out. At the end of the day, maybe the attitude that I went in with was that they are doing me a favor. There's so many people who are unemployed and they've selected me. But it's not really a favor. You are there to work. So if you have issues, you need to speak out. If you see something wrong, you need to speak out. Of course, there's a way and manner to do it, but I think you need to learn how to speak out and know that you are there to do the job. So don't think, I'm just a small graduate, I won't make an impact. If they give you a job, run with it. If they give you a project, show them your potential and, also have a plan to say, yes, I'm a graduate, but I see myself here in 2 years' time. If you can find somebody who can help you, then you communicate with that person that I like what you're doing. How did you get there? Please help me. And people in corporate most of the time are very helpful, and they'll understand that, it's a graduate and so ambitious. Let me take them under my wing and run with them.
Yeah. Did you have a mentor?
I had a mentor. So in the graduate program, they did assign somebody to be your mentor. And yeah, she was my mentor. She helped me when I had issues. I'd talk to her to say, I'm having this issue, please help me out. And she, even now we still talk, not as close, but she still gives me career advice that, oh, do this, do that. So it does help. But in the graduate program, for us, they gave us mentors.
And that is advisable, right? In corporate, just to have a mentor.
Yes, I think it's advisable. I've never had a mentor outside the graduate program. So maybe it's also something I should try. I should find someone and ask them to be my mentor.
Yeah, no, I think it does help, but it needs to be set up maybe in the correct terms, because sometimes you find people who mentor you and now you sort of get swallowed in their way of doing things and their way of thinking, and you no longer have your own sort of way of approaching things, because they come with experience, but I think is something that is very recommended and stuff. The advice that you can give to students, I mean, some they're going to be looking at this and they are very inspired, and some they're going to look at this and they want to follow in your steps, I mean, in your career. What advice can you give to students in general?
My advice is to never limit like the amount of information you take in. So in your spare time, you can do research on your career, you can do research on what you're studying, the different avenues that are available for you, so that you can just be like well informed and have direction. Because I think for a lot of people, once you graduate, you're not really sure that, okay, like what happens next? I've got this degree and it's supposedly the key to open all the doors to success, but like you just struggle, you don't know what exactly. So but if you have a lot of information out there, if you've done research, if you've spoken to other people doing the same course as you, like I said, I had friends who were doing the same course and would share information to say, this company is hiring, let's do this, maybe on the weekend let's try that. So get exposed to a lot of things, and also don't limit yourself. Don't say, because I'm studying this, I can't sit with somebody who's studying law, or because I'm studying engineering, I can't sit with somebody who's doing a BA. Once you work, you'll be surprised. In the office, you'll bump into somebody who did a BA in English and they are working in IT, and you're just like, how? So you must never limit yourself. Get information and interact with a lot of people.
True. Wow, that was like a thesis, dissertation. Yeah, really. No, we like this type of thing. Sometimes we take them for granted, but I mean, someone just knowing this is how I move, and this is how such advices, I think, they are very key. Yeah. So thank you very much for being here.